Right, so it is the 1st of October, so we're sort of, pretty much autumn now, proper autumn. Saying that, the weather's not saying autumn to me. It's sunny, it's warm, we're sort of 23 degrees today, so I'm not complaining at that. We've had some reasonably, well, pretty mild nights still. We've had one night down to about 8 degrees, but apart from that, it's been sort of 11, 12 degrees plus. Last night we were still 16 degrees, so that's not too bad for this time of year. But anyway, enough rambling about weather. Let's have a look at the centre bed, and specifically the palms. So this is my sort of small palm bed in the centre of the garden. I have got other plants in there as well, but mainly the palms are the main interest. And as you may well know if you watched any of my previous videos, throughout winter and early spring we had a lot of damage in here. Most of all but one of the palms spear pulled, and a couple I thought were totally a goner, totally defoliated. But let's have a look at them now anyway. So we will start off at the very front here. So this is where the sago palm was originally, which had been out for 4 or 5 years. It's been pretty solid. Last year defoliated, and I didn't really want to just look at a little stump all summer, so I took it out and potted that up, and that has loads of side shoots on that. I've done a video on that a month or so ago, and that's doing really well now. So we swapped out for this Yucca Bright Edge. I thought that'd be a nice sort of bright pop of colour at the beginning of the raised bed there, so that's done quite well, settled in, put out some new growth. The other thing I will say is I did have a sable miner here, because the idea was, these are all quite small palms at the moment, so we had the sago at the front, which has now been swapped out. We had 2 palms either side at the front, 2 palms in the midsection, and originally 2 at the back, but I've actually got a 3rd one in there now. But we'll go through them all anyway. So front to back, so we've took out the sago. We've had to take out the sable miner because that really, I think that I knew that was going to die even before winter, because I'd dug it up from the front garden. That didn't like being dug up. I did probably damage the roots and it did die. So temporarily for this year, until I decide what I replace that with, I may well go with another small sable mine. I've got several in pots, which maybe next year I might try one of them there. But so yeah, just as a gap filler, we put in there Luteacacia Thai Giant, which not done particularly well, not warm enough really this year for that. So first of the palms that are still here, which spear pulled quite nastily, was the Princeps, Trachycarpus Princeps, which is the one with the pure white undersides. I don't know if that's showing up well on camera, but really nice undersides to that. This is not a hybrid, this is a pure Princeps, and we had 3 or 4 spears totally pull out, plus a couple of the older leaves came out as well. So we had a nasty case of rot in this particular palm. We did treat it on a weekly basis with hydrogen peroxide, and it's come back, as we can see, and actually it's come back quite well, because these 2 leaves here are new this year, plus a 3rd which is starting to open up, and plus another spear on the back of that as well. So it's done well. It did have some damage, we can see here. Now I don't know if that was insect damage as the spear was coming out, or whether that's, I don't think that would have been damaged down that low. That would have been at the tips if that was damaged. So that was insect damage as the spear was coming out. Right, so that's made a good recovery. Pleased with that. So this is the one, the Brahea edulis, which totally spear pulled after the first freeze in December. just went brown within a week. A couple of weeks later, everything just pulled out and cut all the foliage off and basically gave up on that. I thought that's a goner. And so this is it now at the end of the growing season, and again, unbelievable recovery really for something that totally defoliated and I thought was a goner. We've got 2 new leaves, third there, and a spear coming as well. So that's done a really amazing recovery in my eyes. I really can't believe how well that's come back, but come back it has. And the only palm that didn't spear pull is this Boutea odorata, which is looking quite nice now, starting to get a bit of a blue to the petioles, and yeah, looking quite good. So it did have very slight signs of rot in the spear. I wouldn't say rot, maybe a sort of fungus. It didn't rot, but it did have a bit of fungus on it, so we did put a bit of hydrogen peroxide in that as well, just to kill any fungus and issues there. And that's didn't spear pull, and that's just, you know, ticked away nicely over summer. Can't complain at that one. Right, so coming around this side, I'll try and do this without getting the shadow in the way. So this is the European fan palm, so Chamaerops cerifera, and this is the blue form. It did again totally spear pull, and we had a couple of the newer leaves look a bit rough, so we cut them off. Again, same as all the palms here, hydrogen peroxide once a week, let it dry out fully in between, and as we can see, we've got a decent bit of new growth in the centre. We can see the new growth because that's a lot bluer than the old leaves, and I won't say it's been particularly fast, but it has made a good recovery. So again, we've got two full leaves, one still open, and we've got a spear. So basically the same as all these palms. They've put on 2.5, 3 leaves throughout the season. That's not, like I say, been a particularly good season for recoveries, but there we go. In fact, we can see here this is sort of first leaf out from the spear pull, and obviously the ends of that had rotted, but yeah, since then done well. Again, with all the suckers on this, they were totally unaffected. So I said at the time, even if the main trunk died, I know I'd have something there, because all the side growths were all good, no spear pull on them. In fact, I didn't even notice at the time, but I can see there it did actually flower. I don't know if you can just see that there. Very small flower on that, or little pod, too small for seeds. Right, so that sort of comes to the back here, the last 2. So this is the Jubea chilensis. This spear pulled as well, so we can see the older leaves have got sort of more of a yellowy greeny tinge to them. They're quite old, but yeah, it's totally spear pulled. But as we can see, we have got one new frond there, another one there, and we've got a spear coming as well, so that has recovered. And yeah, like most cold hardy stuff, you know, even if you get spear pulled, they quite often do come back if you give them the right treatment. And this comes to the last palm in the centre bed here. So this is a Chamaerops humilis Etna star. So it's the one with the sort of white powdery residue on the back of the leaves, and this spear pulled as well, and as we can see, full recovery, plenty of leaves and new spears coming on that. So we will try and prevent damage this winter, because I haven't sort of looked after, nurtured these all sort of spring, getting back into growth to have exactly the same thing this winter. So we will be a bit more careful, and we will be protecting as necessary, and just having the fingers crossed that we're not going to get a cold winter like we had previously. Right, let's leave it there. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.